Okay, so we're going to have a quick look at some digital marketing trends for 2021. First one is the no-click searches. This is a big one that when we talked about the analysis, where the measuring how effective something is, this is one of the ones that's going to throw your metrics off. Because there, as you can see, I've clicked opening times for Morrison's, a local supermarket, and it's told me the opening times for Morrison's, so Stamford is 6 a.m. till 10 p.m. So it's done its job. Now, I haven't clicked on that website to find that information though, so has it got unique visitors, click-through rate and all that kind of stuff? No. But without that website I wouldn't have found the information and I might have gone to a different store. So this is one of the key things now that you've got to be aware of, that people can see your website without actually visiting your website, and therefore how do you measure the effectiveness of that? So that's one of them, and I'm going to use the same image for the next 2021 trend. Is there Google verified listings for local SEO? So if you notice there, I just wrote opening times of Morrison's. I didn't tell it where I was or which Morrison's, but it then knows where I am and then shows me the local Morrison's. Okay, and that's one of the key things for SEO. People want to buy, or for certain things, kind of, I don't know, fast food or haircuts or something like that, they want to go local and they don't want to have to type in where they are. They just kind of want, or they expect Google to know that now. So you've got to be able to add that into your web design so that it appears adequately on the right search engines. And also as well, you know, when we look at segmentating your audience, you've got to kind of think as well, realistically, how far will people travel for you? Things like a haircut, that might not be too far, but if you sell wedding dresses or high-end vehicles, then people might travel a little bit further for you. So when you're looking at SEO, you've got to kind of then look at what's a realistic travel destination for us, and things like that as well. So they're two with the same image, trends for 2021. Next is kind of more, I don't know. See, I read a lot in the academic journals that the voice there is going to be a big thing, but I don't know if it's going to be like tablets. They reckon tablets were going to be a big thing, but tablets are declining, the use is declining, the sales are declining, and then they never really took off. People still prefer their phones or to go onto more of a laptop stroke desktop. I think the ones like the Microsoft Surface and things like that, those tablets that have a more defined keyboard seem to be doing okay. But once again, it's a bit grey. Are they a tablet or are they an actual kind of a light laptop or something? But I'm losing my point here. The point, I don't know if voice search will take off, but a lot of the academics say it will, and the industry specialists say it will. So therefore, we've got to be aware of it. So once again, when you're looking at your SEO, you've got to know, how do people say it? What words do people use? Do they have a silly phrase for it? So as I look outside in my garden, I have one of those kind of clothes drying things. So it's kind of like an umbrella. I suppose it looks like an umbrella, but with no cloth over it, and then you hang your clothes over it. The reason I say that is because I know in some parts of the country they call that a twirly gig, and I know this because I've sat in a lecture and the lecturer was on about a twirly gig and half the audience didn't know what that was. So they had to stop the lecture and explain what it was and then continue with the lecture. So this is the same for when you're looking at things like voice search and things like that. How were people going to describe your product? And therefore, how are you going to make sure that they get your product? And then on the voice search, we there have visual search. This is one that's been bugging me for years. That is an actual picture of my trainers. They are my favourite trainers I have ever bought. They're over 20 years old. And I want to know what they are, and I can't find out what they are. And then I thought, when picture searching came in, I thought, oh, brilliant! Maybe I just need a better picture of them. I know the Nike Airs running shoe, but I don't know what they are, and I want to find out what they are and see if I can ever find any more of them, etc. But that is another way forward, that more people are doing visual searches, especially for things like clothing and stuff. So if your friend's got a nice pair of shoes, you can take a picture and then see where you can buy them from, etc. So picture searches, visual searches are becoming a bigger thing as well. a trend for 2021, or could be if we're ever allowed outside of our houses. Still, a big element is online reviews. We've seen this infograph before, but it just all highlights how online reviews are very powerful. I'm not going to go back through the data for you, but it really looks at how online reviews can really help focus the customers, people trust them, etc. There we go. There's a mobile first element to web design and web creation, things like that. So it used to be like it was, well, back in the day, I suppose nobody cared. It was all done on desktop. But then what you used to have is responsive design, where you would design a website that then kind of works on everything, whether it be desktop, tablet, laptop or mobile. Whereas now there's a push just to kind of design stuff that work primarily on mobile, and then try and get them. So it's almost like a responsive design, website design flip. So it used to be you designed it on your laptop or your desktop, and it would flip it to make it work on a mobile. Now you make it work on a mobile. Now you design it for a mobile and flip it to make it work on a laptop, desktop or tablet, etc. So it's just a different way to think. And then once again, it's the creation of apps and the development of apps and how they work, as opposed to the mobile webs as well. Chatbots. So if anyone's old like me, you remember this. You'd start off a letter, and there you'd go. And I reckon there he is, Mr. Clippy. I reckon Mr. Clippy was the original chatbot. So you'd open up a Word document, you'd type "Dear so and so," and then you go, "Oh, look, it looks like you're writing a letter." And this little thing here would pop up to help you with your letter. And that's kind of one of the first chatbots. Kind of what chatbots are is, you've seen them now. They're usually in the bottom right hand corner. We'll investigate later in the module why the bottom right hand corner. Usually in the bottom right hand corner, and they're there so that people can engage with the website. Sometimes they'll let you know they're a chatbot. Sometimes it's actually a bit devious in the fact that the first few, like the standard greeting, "Hello, how are you today? How can I help you?" It can be a robot, and then when you type a certain response, it'll scan the answer for keywords. So, "Oh, I'm wondering about your marketing," so it'll then send you to the marketing person. "Oh, I'm wondering about your customer service," it'll send you customer service, etc. So, sometimes it knows you don't know you're talking to a person. I think it's called a Turing test. Is that, if anyone wants to go further into that a little bit later on. But that's what chatbots are, and they're becoming a big thing. It's it's that instant connectivity and things like that. Another 2021 digital marketing trend then is AR, so augmented reality. So as opposed to virtual reality, there is kind of where you wear the glasses and you're immersed in that world. So it's a virtual world, it's virtual reality. Augmented reality, as you can see there, is where it imposes some things into the world you're actually in. So the idea with that's what it's trying to show there is you hold your screen up and it has a flying person, and then you can put hover the screen over certain buildings and all that kind of the real life buildings, and that's it. Kind of, I suppose, one of the biggest and best examples of augmented reality was Pokemon Go. You remember that weekend when we all went out and played Pokemon Go? The whole world did, and then that was it. But that's the key thing with augmented reality. The way it kind of works for a marketing thing is it might be you can try different hairstyles on, different clothes on. You can see if that furniture looks right in your apartment before you buy it, things like that. So it mixes the virtual world with the real world. That's augmented reality, whereas virtual reality is pure virtual world. There we go. So a couple of quotes from Forbes to mix it up. So I have pictures and words. You can read them pause the video and read them later. It's just basically saying that more people are going to start purchasing through social media. I wouldn't be surprised if, especially Facebook, doesn't then create some kind of monetizing system, so you don't have to pay anywhere else. You pay through Facebook. So is it there? If you pay, if you're advertising on Facebook, you can then buy it through Facebook, and then Facebook will obviously take a cut of it and then collect your data and all that kind of stuff as well. So it seems to be the next thing, and they said that just as kind of Amazon changed the retail world, it's kind of Facebook is kind of taking that move forward. So especially with things like, I suppose it would just be stealing eBay's crown really, but the peer-to-peer, the consumer-to-consumer selling market. So we've got the business-to-consumer. Amazon have pretty much got that nicely sewn up, but the consumer-to-consumer market is a key area, and this might be where Facebook in. They do bring in a little caveat though, so be careful. Many companies are starting to reduce their social media channels, and they're only looking at the key ones. I think that's because of the explosion. China's opened up, so they've given us kind of WeChat and Weibo and things like that. And then other ones have gone into China and stuff like that as well. So there's now becoming more and more and more different social medias out there. So a lot of companies are just kind of focusing on the key ones as well. And finally, content is still king. Okay, so ultimately as well, it doesn't matter if you got AR, it doesn't matter if you got a chatbot, it doesn't matter if you're mobile first. You've still got to have good stuff on your website, or still good digital marketing stuff. Okay, so it's not just a simple ticky boxy. I don't understand why my digital marketing's not working. I've got some AR on there. I've got some social media purchasing options. I've got some. It's still got to have good, relevant, focused content. Okay, so to quickly summarise then, according to the 4 or 5 different places I looked for the 2021 trends: no-click searches, Google verified listings for local SEO. I suppose I should underline the word local for that. That's the key point for that. Voice and visual search, online reviews, a mobile-first approach to your digital marketing strategy, chatbots, AR, social media as a purchasing channel, but content is still king.